Have you ever witnessed something uh, truly surprising in politics?
Hmm.
You know, like two figures who started out as just fierce adversaries.
Oh, yeah, publicly clashing, totally at odds.
Exactly. And then somehow, despite all of that, they forge a path toward, well, mutual respect, maybe even admiration.
It's pretty rare, isn't it? And absolutely captivating when it happens.
Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we're really plunging into an intriguing and I think often overlooked chapter of Philippine political history.
We're talking about the complex, fiery, yet ultimately a surprising relationship between two political titans, Senators Antonio Trillanes V and Miriam Defensor Santiago.
And this deep dive isn't based on just, hearsay. We've meticulously pieced it together.
Yeah, from a really rich collection of sources, detailed narratives, historical records, official Senate press releases, key news articles.
And even recent social media discussions, so it gives you a truly multifaceted view. Our mission today is really to unpack the drama, that unexpected mutual respect that sort of blossomed, and the enduring legacy of these two larger-than-life figures.
We're basically offering you a shortcut to being thoroughly well-informed about a political evolution that's, well, as captivating as it is unexpected.
Okay, let's really set the stage for you. So on one side, we have Miriam Defensor Santiago, famously dubbed the Iron Lady of Asia.
Legendary. Known for her lightning-fast, razor-sharp wit, her unparalleled legal expertise.
And that no-nonsense, almost ferocious approach to governance has left absolutely no room for ambiguity, right?
None. She wielded the law like a precise, unyielding weapon.
And then on the other side, there's Antonio Trillanes IV.
But the former Navy officer turned senator, known for that rebellious streak, his fierce anti-corruption crusades.
And an unyielding commitment to his principles, often leading him to directly confront the establishment. He was sort of the embodiment of the political outsider. And their story, this incredible evolution we're talking about, it truly kicks off with a moment of high drama. The 2007 Manila Peninsula siege.
Oh, that was huge. A high-stakes standoff.
It wasn't just a political event, it was explosive. It very nearly derailed Trillanes' career before it had even really begun.
And Miriam, ever the vigilant guardian of Senate decorum and constitutional law.
She wasn't just watching, no, she jumped straight into action, filed a resolution to investigate, possibly even expel him from the Senate.
Right. The setup for that anticipated tense interrogation was utterly dramatic.
But what actually unfolded, or maybe more importantly, what didn't fully unfold, well, that's where their untold evolution really began. From bitter adversaries to something else entirely.
Okay, so Miriam's response was swift, pushing for this ethics probe, very characteristic. But what actually happened next?
To really grasp the unexpected turn, we need to quickly revisit the intensity of November 29, 2007. Antonio Trillanes. Now remember, he was detained for his role in the 2003 Oakwood Mutiny. But he just achieved something extraordinary. Elected senator with a massive 11 million votes, all while still in detention.
That's right. And instead of being sworn in as a free man, Trillanes famously walks out of a court hearing.
Leads a group of supporters, fellow former military officers, to occupy the Peninsula Hotel in Makati.
Their protest was clear, defiant, speaking out against alleged corruption under then-President Gloria Macapagal-Arroyo.
The siege ends with arrests, a dramatic breach by government forces. Trillanes facing even more charges. It was chaotic, high stakes, captivated the nation.
Definitely.
So Miriam Defensor Santiago's response was, well, as you'd expect, swift and decisive.
Just 2 days later, December 1st, she files Senate Resolution number 136.
Her resolution called for an ethics probe into Trillanes' disorderly behavior. She argued his actions had profoundly undermined the dignity and integrity of the Senate.
And coming from a constitutional law powerhouse like Miriam, whose command of the law was absolute, I mean, this was a significant direct challenge, potentially career-ending for Trillanes.
It truly was. She saw it as a blatant disregard for the rule of law, for the decorum expected of a senator, even an elected one, under those circumstances.
For her, the institution of the Senate was just paramount.
So this highly anticipated, dramatic public interrogation everyone expected, this clash of titans.
Yeah.
It just didn't happen, which is a huge twist, right? Especially given Miriam's reputation for never backing down. What stopped it?
Well, it seems it was a combination of things. First, there was clear opposition right there in the Senate.
Okay.
Minority Leader Aquilino Pimentel Jr. spoke out strongly. He argued it was unjust to punish Trillanes twice, essentially, for actions he was already facing court charges for.
Right, the double jeopardy argument. A strong legal point.
Exactly. But it wasn't just Pimentel. Senator Pia Cayetano, who was actually on the ethics committee herself, noted a significant lack of support within the committee for pursuing it. Ah, okay, so internal political resistance, not just a legal objection. But still, it seems a bit out of character for Miriam to let something she felt so strongly about, Senate decorum, rule of law, just fizzle out like that. Was there something else going on?
And this is where the real aha moment comes in. Because while that public opposition was brewing, Trillanes himself made a, frankly, remarkably strategic and deeply personal move.
Oh.
Sources reveal that despite not being a lawyer, he reached out to Miriam with a personal letter.
Okay.
And in that letter, he did something quite extraordinary. He quoted her own book on constitutional law to appeal for mercy and understanding.
No kidding. He quoted her own book back to her?
Apparently, he'd studied her work closely during his detention.
Wow. So he used her own words, her own intellectual legacy to defend himself. That's more than just clever legal maneuvering.
It was a profound act of intellectual deference, wasn't it? And it clearly resonated with Miriam. It showed her he wasn't just some reckless rebel, maybe, but someone who understood the very principles she held dear. Okay, that makes more sense.
Precisely. And what's really telling is how Miriam, always pragmatic underneath the fire, apparently confided to her aides. She said that while Trillanes' actions were, yes, undeniably reckless, they stemmed from a genuine frustration with the system. A frustration with corruption, systemic issues that actually mirrored her own critiques of the Arroyo administration.
I see. So there was a shared underlying sentiment there.
Exactly. So that personal appeal, especially the intellectual acknowledgement from him, coupled with that shared frustration, it seems to have significantly softened her stance.
So in the end, no public retraction, no big apology from Trillanes.
Nope.
But the ethics probe just fizzled out.
Pretty much.
Trillanes remained a senator, albeit detained, until he finally got amnesty under President Aquino in 2010.
And that non-event, that interrogation that never quite happened, was incredibly pivotal looking back.
Yeah. It subtly but firmly planted the seeds for a future of, well, unexpected respect between these two political heavyweights.
A testament to the power of a shared grievance, maybe, and intellectual respect, even across deep divides.
Right. Let's fast forward a bit now to their time actually serving together in the Senate after Trillanes' release in 2010.
Okay.
He immediately dove headfirst into those fierce anti-corruption battles, became a very vocal, relentless critic.
And Miriam, meanwhile, despite facing significant health challenges or chronic fatigue, later cancer, she maintained her famously fiery, distinct style.
You might expect, continued open warfare between them, given that explosive start.
Definitely.
But the dynamic really evolved into something far more complex, more nuanced.
What's truly striking in this period is how their occasional public clashes often seem to mask a growing, albeit quiet, admiration.
Really? How so?
Well, even as early as 2008, before he was even fully back on the Senate floor, Trillanes subtly acknowledged her intellectual influence again.
How?
He quoted her book again. This time in a resolution he filed against executive interference in Senate bills.
Wow. So he kept doing it.
Yeah. It was almost like he was using her own wisdom as both a shield for his arguments and maybe a sword against the system they both, in different ways, criticized. It showed a deep understanding of her contribution.
And then comes this wonderfully humanizing moment. It really highlights this evolving dynamic. You'd think the tension would just keep building, right?
Uh-huh.
But then, listen to this. In 2011, Miriam, with her characteristic wit, she actually lightens the mood, playfully calls Trillanes the most handsome senator in the 15th Congress.
Chuckles slightly. Yeah, I remember that.
I mean, talk about a curveball. A throwback clip resurfaced on Facebook a few years back, 2021, I think, shows her directly saying it. I find him to be the most handsome of the senators standing in this House today. What do you make of that? Was it just a clever political jab to disarm him? Or was there something more, a genuine connection starting?
It's a great question, and I think it was likely both. Knowing Miriam, she was a master of political theater, wasn't she? So a playful jab is certainly plausible. But, given their earlier private exchange, that letter, it also suggests maybe a burgeoning personal connection, a recognition of his, charisma, perhaps, that transcended their political differences. She saw something beyond just the Webble label.
Interesting. If we connect this to the bigger picture, Think about the highly charged 2012-2013 Chief Justice Corona impeachment trial.
Oh, right. Huge drama there, too.
Their roles distinctly contrasted. Miriam was the dramatic constitutional judge, delivering these powerful legal insights.
While Trillanes acted as this relentless prosecutorial force, pursuing his case with vigor.
Exactly. Yet, even amidst those very public opposing roles privately, Trillanes apparently began to actively seek her legal advice.
Really? Even then?
Yeah, which clearly signals a significant shift, right? He was starting to see her not just as this formidable adversary, but maybe as a genuine mentor, recognizing her unparalleled legal mind.
Absolutely. That wasn't a public endorsement, obviously, but a private act of deference. It's powerful because it suggests he valued her counsel above the political optics, acknowledging her as, like, a wellspring of legal wisdom.
Even during that intense 2013 Enrile-Trillanes debate. Remember that one? About water utilities.
Vaguely, yeah. Heated.
A really heated constitutional sparring session. Miriam, who was actually on sick leave at the time, found herself completely engrossed. She even joked she was in heart attack mode watching the arguments unfold.
Knuckles, sounds like her.
And while she definitely defended Senate decorum during the debate, she ultimately sided with Trillanes' underlying logic, offered an unexpected, albeit subtle, endorsement of his position.
This raises an important question, doesn't it? What happens when rivals find themselves sharing a common enemy or maybe a common goal?
Right.
During the exhaustive 2014 by-nay corruption probe, Miriam suggested televising a by-nay Trillanes debate. She quipped it would be to see who lies.
Chuckles. Classic Miriam.
While she also expressed a desire for the probe to find closure, she very clearly acknowledged Trillanes' zeal and effectiveness in relentlessly pushing for accountability against corruption, a principle she herself championed her whole career. She saw his fire for justice and, respected it.
The real test, though, the real test of their complicated, evolving relationship that came to a head in 2016 during the tumultuous presidential race.
Yes.
That political contest ultimately created a fresh and frankly pretty painful rift between them.
Indeed. Miriam decided to run for president with Bongbong Marcos as her running mate. A decision that, for many, was politically charged, obviously, given the Marcos family history.
Right, complicating the landscape even more.
And during the campaign, she publicly accused Trillanes of being basically a Liberal Party proxy in his highly publicized efforts to expose then-candidate Rodrigo Duterte's alleged hidden wealth.
She really went after him on that.
Oh, yeah. She even snapped, openly suspecting palace intrigue, stating pointedly, apparently Trillanes has the support of Malacanang, referring to the presidential office. It was a direct, cutting accusation, basically suggesting he was just a political tool.
And Trillanes, predictably, he fired back. Indirectly, but defending his actions, his motivations.
But what's truly telling here, what really speaks volumes about the depth of their underlying connection, is that he privately expressed regret for his strong words.
Oh, really?
Yeah, especially given Miriam's rapidly deteriorating health at the time. This reveals that the personal respect that had genuinely developed between them, it actually transcended the immediate, brutal political skirmishes of an election.
That's quite something. It showed it wasn't just political opportunism for him.
Exactly. There was a genuine human element, a recognition of her struggle, her impending mortality perhaps, that led him to regret adding to her burden.
Miriam Defensor Santiago passed away on September 29th, 2016.
A huge loss.
Trillanes publicly mourned her passing. He eulogized her as one of the greatest, praising her formidable intellect. But here's the untold bit that really seals the complex, unique bond they shared. It reveals this quiet reconciliation.
What's that?
Before her death, she reportedly sent him a signed book.
Okay.
Inscribed with a poignant, powerful note, it read, "To the rebel who quotes me, fight on, but within the law."
Wow. Fight on, but within the law.
Yeah, it was this quiet, profound act of reconciliation. A final, almost mentor-like message from one powerhouse to another, acknowledging both his fire and her enduring principles.
That's a beautiful and powerful moment, isn't it? It shows her lasting influence and his continued deference, even after everything. She was, in essence, giving him her blessing to continue his fight, but with the wisdom of her legal mind kind of guiding him.
So how does their often turbulent, yet ultimately respectful legacy resonate today? Trillanes, of course, continued his strong anti-Duterte advocacy after Miriam's passing, became one of the most prominent critics.
Right. And recent social media posts, from just the last year or two, 2024, 2025, they show that the political friction he generates and the discussions around him are still very much alive, enduring.
What kind of stuff are we seeing?
Well, we see ex-posts, for instance, with throwbacks criticizing his old claims against Duterte. There are even calls sometimes to jail him alongside Senator Leila de Lima. It just reflects a continued, deeply polarized landscape.
Hmm.
Some posts accuse him of faking stories or paying witnesses for false testimony, but then on the other hand, there's also clear support voicing up for his potential run in Kalugin.
So public opinion on him remains incredibly divided.
Totally. It's a political landscape as polarized and dynamic as the one Miriam and Trillanes themselves navigated, where his actions are still viewed through that lens of rebel versus patriot, depending on who you ask.
In this highly polarized political climate in the Philippines, their story really does remind us that even fierce rivals can, and sometimes do, find common ground, find shared respect.
Especially, it seems, in battles against corruption or for a certain vision of accountability. Miriam's initial strict ethics push, rather than ending Trillane's career, it somehow, unexpectedly, fostered this unique admiration, this mentorship-like bond. It's a fascinating paradox.
So what does this all mean for you, the listener? This deep dive into the relationship between Antonio Trillanes IV and Miriam Defensor Santiago. It shows us politics isn't just about policies and power plays, is it?
Not at all. It's profoundly about the human side of ambition, the complexities of conflict, and the surprising emergence of unexpected respect.
From that high-stakes hotel siege to a privately signed book with a poignant note, their story is just a testament to the intricate, often contradictory nature of public life.
Their journey truly challenges assumptions, doesn't it?
Mhm.
It demonstrates how initial animosity can, really against all odds, evolve into a powerful form of mutual appreciation. Even when individuals are deeply entrenched in opposing political camps, it's a powerful and nuanced lesson, I think, in navigating a world full of conflicting viewpoints and maybe finding common humanity within those political differences.
Definitely. So, as Trillanes potentially eyes political comebacks and the Philippine political landscape remains, well, as turbulent as ever.
What lessons can be drawn from their unique journey about the role of respect, or maybe its absence in shaping a nation's future? Something to mull over until our next deep dive.